definitely a good answer. So moving on to my next question, and it kind of does tie into what the church should be, because y'all kind of did touch on what the church lacks. So this kind of answers that question. Why do you think so many people have walked away from the church?
There is so many reasons why the people have walked away from the church. Um, I can definitely say, I'm going to say this. I'm going to just start back, going back through segregation, the church. You had the black church, and the black church was really strong in the community, serving the youth, making sure the youth were doing things, making sure people were served, making sure that activism was going on. And then when we integrated, we had a lot of churches who wanted to integrate in certain social societies. We had a lot of church members who wanted to integrate into doing other things, and we also had people who were saying, the kids need to be seen, not heard. Y'all just come to church and sit down. Well, guess what? When those kids get grown, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna find a church that's gonna let them be themselves. They're gonna find a church that's gonna let them do what they do best, and that's praise God the way they want to praise God. And so when you have a church that's not young people centered, when you have a church that's more trying to be having a social hour instead of actually praising and worshiping God and making sure that people's needs are met, people are going to go to where their needs are being met. And that's why so many people have left the church, and they may have found another church, or they may have left the church just completely.
Okay, so I don't know if we have enough time for me to answer this. And I'm serious, man. That may sound crazy. So,
we got time. We only 10 minutes in. Do your thing. If you go,
no, but I'm not gonna go too long. But
okay,
but serious. So I want to make sure that I don't put all the onus on the church, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with the church first, and then I want to say something else though. But
okay.
So the first thing I believe, and I do agree with Leila, man. I think she hit it on when she say people are going to go and find a place that allows them to worship, right, and be themselves. I think what the church failed to do is that even though we're supposed to keep the same message, I think we forgot to change our meanings, right? Like I think that we've gotten to the point to where, as a church, we think the same thing that reached grandmother and granddad is going to reach this generation. And if we're honest, this generation is a little different. It's just truthful, and probably a lot different, but they're different. So I think that was one of the first things. I don't think the church adapted well with the times. I think we picked up an entertainment side of the church, but we didn't pick up a social side of the church, right? To really start to understand and see what's going on in our communities and with this generation. I don't think we address the topics that this generation is concerned with, right? Like we may, and again, and that's why I say I definitely want to make sure I keep this Bible because I am a pastor. It's okay to talk sin. It's okay to talk, grace, mercy, and all these things. But this generation also has so many other things that are on their mind when it comes to just their everyday life. And it's just for real. So we have to find a way to deal with the Bible, yet make it applicable to today. And I think as a church, we struggle with taking what God said 2,000 years ago and allowing these young people to see how it affects their life today. We've gotten again into the entertainment side, and I hate to say it, because I love the church too. But also, man, so many people believe that all the church wants is money because we turned the church into a business, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of allowing the church to be just a center, as Leader said earlier. One thing I truly believe is, man, we come to church, praise, worship, and nothing else, fellowship, and be a community. Right, and so I think, man, again, that we've gotten to a place to where we didn't adapt, we didn't, focus on what some of their needs. And then another thing for me with this generation, I tell people, man, and again, this is me, man, any preacher that may see this, man, because we've always, when we were younger, Leader, man, and y'all tell from wrong, we always was told, man, don't worry about the message, just get the message, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna be honest, man, that worked with us as when we were kids. They told us, just do this and that, and we did it. With this generation, man, because they got so much information in their hand, they are knowledgeable of so many things. they not just gonna look at the message. They looking at the messenger too, though. Like you got, like, bro, like you can't tell me one thing and then do another. Like for us, that was okay. For this generation, that's unacceptable. So I think another problem is so many times what's preached from the pulpit is not lived before the people that we're trying to reach. So these young people, so the younger generation is believe that again, we after money, man. And y'all, I know y'all have heard it, man. The church full of hypocrites. Now, to be honest, the church. I don't want to say the church is full of hypocrites. I think the church is full of people that's struggling just like everybody else is struggling. That's what makes it a church, right? Like I never even tell people as a pastor myself, I got it all together, man. I still struggle. But the problem is most of us that lead churches or talk church or in leadership positions won't share with younger people our struggles. Like we feel like we have to act as if we got everything together. And then the moment that they find out we don't, you know, we become a hypocrite, we become a liar, we become this. So they getting away from the church, right? And then the next thing, man, for me, I think it really is, man, I think because of this age of information, man, and, you know, and it's funny to say it, we have so much information, and again, especially in the time that we in with this oppressive moment that we've been facing for the last 15 to 20. I'm just saying, you know, it's been seeming like forever, but right now the things that we're dealing with, it's so many people that are literally saying to themselves, man, this Christian relationship was given us to keep us oppressed, to make us soft. And I'm gonna be honest, this generation they ain't got that. Like I done seen it, been around it. They don't have that turn the other cheek spirit right now, right? So a lot of them are saying, man, the white man gave us this religion to oppress us, to keep us down, which again, that's not what I believe about Christianity, just because of the way it affected and changed my life. But I think that's one reason. I mean, I think those are some of the reasons that they're leaving, because again, the information that we're sharing is not information that they care about, right? I think for one, and then again, I think leadership in the church has hurt the church so much because we're no longer the example that we should. And I'm just giving y'all an example why I say that. When we were younger, if they said the preacher heard, the pastor heard, boy, people gonna go to hide and stuff and getting stuck together because the preacher had respect, like it was a reverence tied to his name. Man, I've been places people like, man, Pastor Mac, man, so here, so what? Preacher such and such too. Right? We've lost respect for the clergy, like, and I think some of it is our fault because of the things we've done. But then, and again, man, and I've seen it. It is so much information for this younger generation. Like at their hands, I've literally had young men like after I preach a sermon to come up to me and ask me, you know where that white Jesus came from. You know, and you got to be able to answer them questions. Most of us as preachers probably don't even look at it, don't care about studying it. But this generation want to know because, like to them, like they saying, like, man, like truth be told, like, bro, if you want me to follow this religion, that's cool. But I can't follow this religion if the first picture you show me is false and you telling me everything else about this church is true, right? So those are things that have hurt us. But then I also literally want to say, but also with this generation, because it's easy to put all the blame on the church. But the reality of the matter is, too, some young people just don't want no structure because the church is going on for structure. Like truthfully, like you don't want no structure, no discipline, no correction, right? And I think that becomes a problem because again, I in the last 2 years just being around so much stuff in the community, man, I had to kind of step back from some stuff because I was just like, man, I get, you know, like, man, we going and we doing, but then there has to be order to what we do. There has to be structure to what we do, right? And then I also think, and y'all can say I'm wrong, but I'm just saying this generation, period. Man, this generation, man, has lost respect for elders. Like, so, and to be honest, they lost respect, so much respect for the foundational things, right? When it comes to church or our communities. And, you know, and truth be told, if the foundation is destroyed, then how do we expect the building to stand? So I really believe, man, like a lot of it goes on, you know, on the church. But I also believe that just a lot of people, just truth be told, don't want a religious structure. Like, because, you know, it's like, I'm serious, man, and all you got to do is look around, man. Like, in this generation we're in, everything is microwavable. Everything is fast-paced. You got to be moving. You got to, and churches like, be patient, wait on the Lord. Nah, man, I need my money right now. Don't you tell me a blessing coming in 10 years. Man, I need, like, I've been going through such and such. And so I think this generation, again, has had so much information that they had. This generation, man, does not like, you know, like the desire for structure just when it comes to all I don't know. Can we respond to people that's chatting?
Yeah, y'all can. Y'all go right ahead. Yeah.
Because Markel, I agree with you, and they kind of go back to what I said earlier. A part of like the pastors or the elders or the leadership in the church. I don't want to say the word hypocrites, because again, I think all of us still struggle with sin. Ain't nobody perfect. But we have gotten to a place where you say, like, the way we carry ourselves as leaders in the church, leaders in the community, has gotten us to a place where elders are not seen the same, or we don't do what all of us used to. But the problem I have for being inside of it is, but when you do find that elder or that person that is leading and that's with you in the fight and that believes some of the things you believe, because you've been hurt by one, you put the whole church in the bag together. And to me, that's a hard deal, because it's like, man, and I don't know if y'all ever dealt with it, but I used to hate it. I was the older brother, right? If one of my brothers or sisters did something, all of us got a whooping. They used to drive me crazy. Like, why are you punishing all of us for something one person did? And that's what happens so many times with the church, with this generation. It don't matter about which pastor was good, which pastor actually cared about the community. Man, it's just the church, and they don't like the church. I'm gonna be quiet because I don't want to talk too long.
Okay, go ahead, Lita, because then I'm gonna take
back on something real quick. Two things you said. Number one, I really truly believe, like you said that the generations lost respect. They can't lose something that they never were taught to do.
That's good.
A lot of times these kids weren't taught to respect their elders, so they can't lose something they never had. You can't lose something you never had. So we have to say that they're not being taught to respect their elders. Now it's not generation whole, because there's some wonderful young people out there who are doing great things. But you can't, if you haven't been taught to respect your elders, that's not something that you're going to be able to do, and that's something that you have to be taught to do. Secondly, when you were talking about the church, some people see the church as hypocrites, and because they try to be perfect, it really reminded me of the Pharisees in the Bible. The Pharisees, I mean, that's pretty much a lot of, and I just like to say, like, religious folk. They come to church. They like to check the black guys. I got up, went to church, read my Bible, said my prayers. Yeah. Okay, God, I gave you my time. Now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, that's my time. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna smoke. I'm gonna do everything else. And there are people in the church who are like that, and our young people see that, and so they think that, okay, well, if I can do the same thing that they doing without God. I can go smoke, and I can go drink, and I can do everything else. I don't need God for that. I can see it without Him.
Yeah, I've said that before. Like, man, if we gonna do what they do, and I'm just saying me, right? When I was in the streets, like, bro, if I was in the streets and I'm watching you and you doing everything that I did, and I'm gonna be honest, to me, I might as well just stay in the street, bro, and I ain't got to come listen to you with this church stuff. And if we gonna both do the same thing, ain't no need of me coming, because the only thing you're gonna do is make me feel bad about us doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hiding yours and mine just in the open. So I definitely agree.
Okay.